Well, good morning. It's another beautiful weekend morning. My name is Lance. I am in North Dakota Carnivore. It's coming in to give anybody support who wants a little support over the weekend. Um, I was going to do this at 9 o'clock, and then I remembered Dr. Kiltz is live at 9. I love listening to Dr. Kiltz, so I just got done watching his live show that he does every Sunday morning. He'd been missing it. He took a trip uh, last month, and there's 2 or 3 weekends where he didn't do anything on Sunday morning, so it was a little bit different. Again, this is primarily for carnivore diet, but if you're having struggles with any uh, diet issues, I don't know anything. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy that shed 132 pounds, got 5 blood pressure medications, and completely changed my life through eating. So if you're interested in my self-experiment, I'd be happy to share any knowledge, any information that I might have. So I'm also sitting here drinking my coffee. It's so good. So last month, October, we did a beef, butter, bacon, and egg challenge in one of the online groups that I'm in. And the total group has been, to me, I don't know how many people were a part of it, but the group lost 1,324 pounds with the official results video showed on it. And that's a lot of weight for a group of people online to lose. They've got a pretty big following, but I honestly don't know how many people were part of that live. Were part of that weight loss challenge. The video had just over 500 comments on it with that what you were supposed to reply with your weight loss. So it wasn't 500 people total, because some of the comments were just about the actual video itself. So there's probably 250, 300 people, I would guess, that were that did the challenge. My foot itches. Can't believe. And it's just the carnivore diet. It's one way to lose weight. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is a subset inside of what people call a carnivore diet. You can throw however you want to eat. Basically, you're eating animals and animal byproducts. So, beef, butter, bacon, eggs, seafoods, shrimp, salmon, mackerel, sardines, oysters. Those are all carnivore foods. But that also includes like goat and lamb and their milks and the products that you can make with it. So, cottage cheese. Some will tell you cottage cheese isn't carnivore, but it comes from an animal. So it's a processed food from an animal. You can make cottage cheese without too much effort. You make sour cream without much effort. Heavy cream, milk, cheeses. They're all different things that you can do fairly simply from the dairy from a animal. So it doesn't have to be a cow. It can be a goat. People do drink goat milk. I think I have. I think my dad used to make stuff with goat milk in it every now and then. Anyway, he doesn't like lamb. That's because he used to deal with the shearing and stuff like that, and he can't stand the smell. So I guess even just dealing with like lamb chops or a lamb roast or leg of lamb, he can't deal with it. But that was for the month of October. For November, the group that I'm with is on Carnivore Quest. If you don't go to Carnivore Quest, look up Larry and Cassie's channel. They've lost a lot of weight, and they've struggled and put weight back on, and then they've lost weight, and they've struggled and put weight back on, and they've lost weight. The fact that they come out there and they're completely honest about what's going on with what they're doing, it's a great inspiration because that's how people live. That's how I've learned from their mistakes, from them putting information out on what they did that derailed them. I've learned not to do some of that stuff. And to me, that is a tremendous benefit. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. And it's like the first thing in the mornings, my allergies have been gone, but I get this in the back of my throat in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's the weather change or what's really going on with that, but it's kind of crazy. But when I first started talking, I've been up for hours. Everybody's been sleeping, or we have grandkids and they're busy playing, and I haven't had to talk. So when I start talking, I get this crud that's in the back of my throat that starts loosening up, and drinking coffee helps. It could probably be just hot water, and that would help. But just having Larry and Cassie be so honest with their videos and what they're doing, it really makes a tremendous difference in how I've done my diet and how I've succeeded in what I'm doing. I've had mental issue struggles, things in my head. I haven't gone off the rails and gained weight back because of bad eating. I've gained weight on a carnivore diet during stressful periods. I didn't change my eating. I didn't do anything different, but I ended up gaining weight back in July. And it was different to step on a scale and see that, man, I'm up weight. I haven't changed anything. I'm not eating any different than I've been eating before. But it was really different to see that had changed. So in August, Larry did a alternate day eating challenge, alternate day fasting. So one day you ate and one day you fasted for 24, 36 hours. I did mine for 36 hours. And I just, I dropped the 10 pounds that I'd gained in July and August, which was fantastic. September, I stopped doing it. I gained a few more pounds. And then in October, we did the beef, butter, bacon, and egg challenge. I lost that weight plus some more. So my lowest weight prior to the October challenge was 224 pounds. I ended October at 215 pounds on October 31st. So from my lowest weight previously, which was in June of 224, I made it back down to that and then went down another 9 pounds to 215. But in October, I ended up losing a total of 15 pounds. I started October 1st at 230 pounds, ended at 215, which is fantastic. But if you are struggling with dealing with stuff with carnivore, struggling with just staying on track, I think one of the best things to do is to find a community get involved in it. Whether it's just attending a live broadcast like Dr. Kiltz does every morning at 5 a.m. Central Time. It's 5 a.m. Central, 6 Eastern. He does a live broadcast with Dr. Nelson, Alia, and they generally have a guest on. But in the comments, there's people in there that are moderators. Most of them have been through the Kiltz coaching class, I believe, and they're very knowledgeable. There's a lot of people that are just in the comments that are experienced and knowledgeable and helpful. So if you have questions, you can learn just reading the comments. If you have a question, you can put it in there and people will help you. In general, most of the people are very helpful. Same with the Carnivore Quest group that I'm in. Larry does the lives, and Cassie joins in now and then. She's working a lot, and she's has her own stuff that's going on, so she hasn't been in the lives that much. She did a few of the lives when Larry wasn't feeling good, but she hasn't really done a whole lot in the last few months. Sorry, I the corner of my desk with my knee. Just had to move back a little bit. And but getting involved in a group like that helps you out so that you can have the motivation to continue going on. A lot of things is just it's a mindset that people have a hard time with. And if you can learn from other people's experiences, it's a tremendous help. If you can take the struggles I've had and do something different so that you succeed, that is great. It's an amazing way to be. But just being around people who are doing the same thing, trying to get the same place that you want to get, is what really helps out. And then, you watch stuff on here like Dr. Kiltz this morning. His Sunday mornings, he goes 100 miles an hour and he's just excited and just constantly talking. It's really cool. Oh, yeah, I still got stuff going on in my life. Nope, I'm not gonna. Oh, so where was I? Oh, I was talking about Dr. Kiltz. He's just crazy. He's got so much energy Sunday mornings, and I enjoy watching his Sunday morning lives because he's just so full of energy and just out there. It's just an amazing thing to watch him go. And then there's other people that are doing their live stuff here that's coming up. I know who was it? I believe it was Keto Simple has got a live coming up here shortly. My computer not being nice. And this morning a little bit different than what I did yesterday. Yesterday I had my window over there open so I could see the snow outside. This morning the sun is extremely bright out there, and I'd probably blind myself if I tried opening up the curtains and being able to see outside this morning. It's just way too much. But I can look over here like this here. Oh, Keto Simple did their live stream already this morning. And I missed them. Well, what the heck? Dustin has been doing this here for a while too, so. All right, well, let's see. Julie Eden says that she's been listening and cooking, so she can't chat yet. The dynamics between Nelson and Kiltz crack me up. It's fun watching Dr. Nelson and Dr. Kiltz. Those two, they're very, very good doctors, and I really enjoy listening to them. They've got great information, so it's nice to see when they do that. And then Alia in the background, she's doing so many different things. She's answering people's chats. She's emailing people in the background because she's sent me messages, email while we're doing the live stream before too. She just does so much back there. So it's really great to be in part of that community and be engaged in what they're doing. The whole thing that they do is just so helpful to people who are new to carnivore. And that's why I say if you're doing the carnivore diet or any diet, as Kiltz will tell you, he doesn't care what kind of diet you're on, as long as you're trying to be the best fertilizer you can be. I guess that makes sense, right? But he's there to help anybody. Doesn't matter if you're carnivore, you're on the SAD diet, you're ketovore, vegan, vegetarian. The Kiltz group is there to help anybody and everybody that wants to become healthier. A lot of it is by doing an animal-based diet. That is what they've determined to be the best diet for the results that they're looking for. And I couldn't agree more, because that's the diet that I have had the best results on. Let me drop this banner real quick. See, eat meat, be happy. That's all it takes. Again, I shout out to my daughter. She made this shirt for me. I came up with the design, and she's got the equipment that she can do this stuff too. So I got my cutting board. I actually have a plate on it because I was eating my breakfast in here while I was listening to Dr. Kiltz. So I so enjoy Kiltz. Man, he's just crazy. Kiltzy. So this morning when I got up, I have a weather station out in my living room, and we were in the single digits. It was 6 degrees this morning on my weather station. 6. That's without a wind chill. So depending upon what your wind is, it feels colder. Right now, the official temperature here is 14 degrees according to AccuWeather, and the wind chill, or they call it the real feel now, is 2 degrees. That's the 12-mile-an-hour wind. So you could probably figure this morning that, what time did I get up? I don't remember. But when I got up and it was 6 degrees out, the wind chill was probably below zero again. And that's actually typical for this time of year in North Dakota, where I'm at. So there's a vast difference in temperatures and stuff here in North Dakota from the northern end of the state to the southern end of the state. If you go to and even the western edge of the state and the eastern edge of the state compared to the middle is completely different. It's just so weird right here. Coming up from Dickinson into Williston over to Sidney, Montana, it's called a banana belt. It's a area where warm air generally runs up in that strip of land there. So it can be warmer there. They can grow different crops because of the temperature differences and stuff. And then there's also the Red River Valley on the other end of the state, Grand Forks and Fargo. That's got totally different climate there too. It's just different. And then from Minot to Bismarck, you can get 3 inches, 4 inches of snow in Minot and absolutely beautiful weather and nothing in Bismarck. But it's just crazy. Yeah, and Julia says all the blue wrenches on Kiltz are certified coaches. And what is going on in Chicago weather? I don't know. Chicago. Oh, well, the Bears. I don't talk much about football or sports on this. Ooh, look at that. Real feel snow right now. 32 degrees. Snowing for 11. Yeah. If the Bears are at home, it's going to be a snowy day. I don't know. Are the Bears playing in Chicago today? That's a good question. Yeah, I can find out because I'm sitting right here. And let's see. And the Bears are playing at home at noon today. So it might be a really good one game of snow. Let's see. Doug bought turkey bacon. Yeah. I'm adding butter to it. I would too. At least beef bacon is beef. I used to eat turkey bacon. Back when I was doing my insanity videos and workouts like that, I used to eat the turkey bacon. I used to eat a very vegetable heavy diet. I wasn't vegan. I wasn't vegetarian. I was very close to it though. There were things that I did while doing the Beachbody workouts that, I went, the Ultimate Reset was a program that they had that basically you reset your body to eat vegan. And they have different stuff that you do and stuff. And it's a 90-day program. And I almost made it. I couldn't. Thank God. It didn't work for me. I couldn't do it. But that was one of the things that I did. I ate the leanest meats I could, and it just wasn't a good thing for me to do. And I ended up having heart issues, so it's a good thing I stopped eating that way. You shouldn't complain though. Ever since he retired officially last week, he does the shopping. You need to get him as a shopping list that he can go off of is what you need to do. That way he can't buy that stuff. Oh, I didn't bring my cup warmer in here this morning, so my coffee's getting cold. And I don't like cold coffee. People that eat cold coffee or drink cold coffees, I don't know how they do it because I can't really do that stuff. It's just difficult to do. It's not something that I care for. All right. Julie says that she made it through exactly 2 insanity videos before quitting. I did Shaun T's workouts for 4 years, and I did them 6 days a week. I went from about 292 pounds down to 212 pounds in 2 years. So, and then of course I was eating a very lean lean meat diet, very vegetable heavy diet, and starving myself while I was doing the workouts, eating around 2,000 calories a day or less, and doing 30-minute to 1 hour workouts. And it was really hard to do. I had a lot of dedication to do that. It was just, I knew I needed to do something at the time. And I kept seeing the insanity videos. I was working as a rig manager on the oil field, so I lived on a rig. And my office was a trailer that was on the rig site itself. I always had the TV on in the room outside of the office so I could hear stuff. And late at night, I'd always see the insanity commercials with Shaun T, and it reminded me of a aerobic workout that I did when I was in the military. And I had great success on that. And back then, I ate whatever the hell I wanted to. But it got me in shape, and it got me so that I was really fit when I was doing that aerobic stuff. And just the way Shaun's intensity is, and the aerobic instructor I had before, her intensity, they were on the same line. And I was like, you know what, I got to try this. And I remember getting the videos, at the end of June 2012, when I started working out. And it didn't take long for me to start losing weight and to start getting in shape. I think my first round of insanity for the 12 weeks or whatever it is, I lost like 15 or 20 pounds, and it was a noticeable difference. And I did insanity over and over and over until he came out with his the Asylum. Then I did Insanity Asylum. I did that a couple of times, and that is a workout. Then I did the Insanity Asylum Volume 2. That one there is basically set up for athletes to get into, the best athletic shape that they can be in. That kicks your ass. Then he came out with Focus T25, and I did that. And then Insanity Max 30, I did that. Up to that point, I did all Shaun T's stuff. He had some older stuff that we got, and we did some of his older stuff, and wow. Even his old stuff was just the way he... Oh yeah, Julie says wow too for doing the insanity stuff. I had the first 2 years I did insanity, I lost 80 pounds, and I went to do a workout one day, and I wore a chest strap so I could get my heart rate and monitor it while I worked out, because at that time I was in my 40s and I wanted to make sure I was being healthy. I know enough about the heart rate and where it needs to be at and stuff like that I just had concerns about it. And one day I couldn't get my heart rate on my chest strap, so I didn't do my workout. I'd been outside prior to that, mowing the lawn and doing stuff like that, so I have allergy issues at that time, and I was having difficulty breathing, and I just kind of thought it was that. And my wife she was out, and when she came home, I was telling her about it, and she's like, okay, we're going to the ER. And went to the ER, and I was an AFib. And I'd never had issues with AFib before, so that was something new. Through I spent 3 days in the hospital because of that for this instance, the first one. Then they put me on a medication. The hospital wasn't associated with the doctors that I saw. It was a different setup, so different company. After I got out, I made an appointment with a cardiologist for the hospital that I was associated with, and got all my medications changed, and I put on medications and a bunch of different things. And I did good for about 2 years, and then that medication stopped working. I was at work one night, working a different job at this time. Work one night, I was talking with guys that I was working with outside, and I got dizzy and lightheaded, and I sat down on a curb that we were working by, and I checked my Fitbit because I work Fitbit, and my heart rate was 25 or 26 or something like that. It was really low. I was like, well, it makes sense. That's why I'm kind of dizzy and lightheaded, because I don't have any blood flow. And then 2 seconds later, it's back up at 80. I decided to go in and into the office and to the break room. I had a cup of coffee, and while I was sitting there drinking my coffee, sitting down, my heart rate again dropped down into the 20s. So that got me going back to my doctor. The next morning, I went in and saw to see my doctor. She was busy, couldn't see me, so I saw her nurse. They did some testing and ended up with an ambulance ride to the hospital again because the AFib was back out of control. And again, I went to the hospital that we're not associated with, because the hospital that I saw had a clinic in my town, but not a hospital. The hospital that they brought me to on the ambulance didn't update the medication list that we gave them when I got checked in. They gave me the wrong medications and tried killing me. That was the second time that hospital did that, so I don't like that hospital. And so I don't go there. But I ended up getting out, went back to my cardiologist, and he said that, there's basically 3 things that they can do. They can continue trying different medications, and he said, but I don't think that's going to work because this one didn't. And that was one of the better ones that he thought that they had. They could just take me off medications and let it be, or we can do surgery and fix it. So, and that was in 2016, summer of 2016, that this all happened, for seeing that. And my wife and I talked about it a little bit and decided to have the surgery. So in February of 2017, I had my heart surgery. This catheter ablation. Basically, it's 4 catheters in the groin, and then they go up their arteries to your heart. I had so many sensors, and from the top of my chest to my bottom of my waistline, I was covered in sensors, front, side, back. On the monitor, or one of the monitors that was being used during the surgery, had a 3D map of my heart, which was really cool. And that's the last thing I remember. But the surgery was supposed to be, it was scheduled for 2 hours, and ended up being just over 5. What they did is they went in and they found the places in my heart that was, my sinus node, that's what tells your heart to beat. It sends out a signal. Somewhere else, there was something else telling my heart to beat. So my heart rate would go from normal to 160, 170, and then drop down to 20, 25, and then back up. It was just going back and forth. And it was all just a bunch of issues. But they go in through there and they find the spots that are bad, and then they microwave it. They may form scar tissue. and that keeps it from happening again. Compelling story. Well, thanks, Julia. That's part of my health, part of my journey of my sickness and my health, and my sickness and then back to health. It was actually that's part of the reason why I got up to 347 pounds now after my surgery. Because after my surgery, I had anxiety about working out because working out didn't work. At least in my head. Did working out work? Absolutely. It probably saved my life because I ended up getting healthier and stronger so that I could survive what happened to me. So, but in my head, I had issues. And I still have some because even on the carnivore diet here, after I got to that 80-pound mark, which is what I lost on Insanity, I stopped my weight loss. And why did I do that? Because of what happened when I was doing Insanity. There was something in my head that said, hey, last time you got here, you ended up having heart problems. Did it happen again? No, it didn't. Am I worried about happening again? Not really. I do wear a Fitbit. My Fitbit does have an ECG function on, so I can actually put my hand right here like this, and it'll give me an ECG, and you can actually read it. As long as you keep your hands steady, that's the hard part. It actually looks pretty good for the graph and stuff that it sends out. I've done them before just to do them to see what it's like. I haven't had issues where I need it, but if I do, I have that function on my watch. Now, after doing the surgery, getting the clearance from my doctor, or from the time that we decided that we were going to have surgery until my surgery is done, my cardiologist took me off of all of my Beachbody workouts. I was doing the Shakeology, their protein shake, and eating a near vegetarian diet. He took me off of all of that. Wanted to make sure that that was not what was causing it. But I still had symptoms and stuff. It was understandable. I went from 220, 225 pounds at the time when I was scheduled to go to surgery to 260 pounds at the surgery date. And I was still pretty fit, pretty lean, but I was pretty big still. So I think doing those workouts actually probably helped save my life. Juliet, I've been on Dave Mack's channel twice. Juliet said I should be interviewed by Dave Mack. Go to his channel. He's looking for people to share their stories. He's always looking for people. And I've done that. I've done that twice now. I've been on Dave Mack. I was on Dave Mack back in December. And then I was on Dave Mack in October or end of September, just recently. So yeah, I've done that. I've been on Dave's channel. I follow Dave on X also. And actually, I'll post about Dave's channel on there too to let people know that they should, if they're doing this diet, they should be trying to get a hold of Dave so they can share their stories. Because I think sharing the stories of people's experiences on this diet is the biggest help for people. You know, I said this when I first started doing this channel, that I'm not here to get followers. I'm not here to ever get monetized on this. It's not what I want to do. I do this channel for one reason, well, two reasons. For my accountability. And if my experience helps one person, then getting out of my comfort zone and doing stuff like this is worth it. And I can honestly say that I have helped people. I either know personally or know through social media, at least 10 people who have done this who have improved their health because I've shared my story. That's just the people who have talked to me that I know. Are there more? I hope so. I hope there are more people out there that have done that. You know, my interviews with Dave have, you know, thousands of people who have watched it, and in those thousands of people, I'm hoping that at least one of them on those videos has seen it and it said, "Hey, if that guy can do it, because that's really what it is. I mean, if I can do this, anybody can. It's just so easy to do." And yeah, I've had struggles. I've had issues with, mentally about whether or not this is the right way for me to do stuff. But as I was saying earlier in the this live, being part of communities like the Kiltz Money Tribe. By the way, I just got a Meet My Food shirt from Kiltz with steer horns on it, and I got a KMT hat. I just got those delivered. I think it was Friday night. We got back from the hockey game, and it was sitting outside the door, so I don't know what time they delivered that. But I just got those in. I wore that yesterday to the game. But it's getting involved in KMT, getting involved in SBG, Steak and Butter Gal or Butter Gang, and Healing Humanity and Carnivore Quest with Keto Simple and all these people who are sharing their information. Now, Steak and Butter Gal, Healing Humanity, Dr. Kiltz, they're big operations. I like the small channels. I like your channel. You've got good information, and I like your sense of humor. Aaron, the average keto carnivore-ish guy, I like his channel. There's a couple other that we have on that come on to these things. So it's nice. I liked watching the other people because the struggles that Aaron has, I have. And if I can learn from Aaron's struggle, then I can avoid mine. And if people can do that, it's just great. You love that? You feel like I don't help anyone on YouTube, and that's the reason I went into coaching. I think I can do better one-on-one. And I'll say this. I put videos out weekly, and I don't know if I help anybody in those videos, but I do know because I do have one of the guys at the hockey, because my videos had started doing the carnivore diet, and he's messaged me a few times on here, and I talked to him at the ice rink and stuff, and he's gone from a 4XL down to a 3XL in his hoodies and stuff, and he doesn't have the pain anymore going up and down the stairs and doing stuff like that, and he's getting healthy. You might not feel like you're helping anybody, Julia, but you are. You've helped me. I've watched your channel, and I see what you do, and I like your sense of humor, and I like what you say on there, and it makes sense to me. So if it makes sense to me, it's got to make sense to somebody else. So, and it's the same thing with Aaron, because he does his own videos and stuff now. Aaron and I were talking about that yesterday in here. I don't do a lot of editing on my videos. I just do my videos, and that's mostly the way I put it out. That's the type of content I prefer to watch. I do like watching the videos like from bigger creators that take the time and take the hours that are doing the edits, because some of the information that they're putting out in those, it's different from what I do. I do my own experience. Like Jenny Minnich, she does her experiences with her testing and everything. So she's got information that she's got to piece in and out of there. And so she does a lot of editing. Well, you're welcome. I thank you because you've helped me, because it makes a big difference. But I like Jenny Minich's stuff. I like the Homestead How, Laura Spath. Laura Spath is actually the reason why I stopped drinking alcohol when I started the carnivore diet. When I started my carnivore diet for the first 2 months, I continued to have my whiskey at night. And I still had great results. I still came off of 5 blood pressure medications while still drinking whiskey. So, losing weight. But her video that she did on, what different drinks do for your body, that's the one that got me to quit drinking alcohol. I'd been watching a lot of videos with Dr. Chafee, Dr. Berry, Dr. Hampton, Dr. Siwas, all the good carnivore doctors. I learned a lot of stuff that the liver does for your body. And then, yes, I know alcohol gets processed through the liver. It just never clicked in my head. The liver does over 600 processes for your body every hour. And as soon as you drink alcohol, those processes stop. And your liver is no longer healing your body, it's getting rid of the alcohol. And for every hour that your liver isn't doing its regular job and it's getting rid of the alcohol, you're losing an hour of healing. Now, it was Laura Spath's video that just said that, when you drink alcohol, just know that your liver's not doing its function and it's just getting rid of the alcohol. And then once the alcohol is gone, then it goes back to its job. She didn't put people down for drinking. She didn't tell people that had to stop drinking. She just put it out there that this is what's going to happen when you drink alcohol. And that resonated with me. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should give this up. And that's when I quit drinking. Now, there's a long story about my drinking too, because I am an alcoholic. I do have it with alcohol. But I've overcome that. I could drink alcohol and stop. I stopped for over 12 years, and then I went back to drinking. And when I first started drinking again after 12 years of not drinking, I was able to drink beer, and my body just didn't react much to beer. I started drinking a little bit of whiskey every now and then. And I felt better if I drank whiskey than beer. I just wasn't bloated and, gross like I was when I drank beer. So I just stopped drinking beer and just drank whiskey on ice. And that was pretty nice. I see, women like me don't need weight to lose. Don't find carnivore yet are suffering on the inside, especially with mental issues, restricting, binging, and you hope to reach them. Well, absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I share stuff about my wife, because I know the carnivore diet, eating the animal fats, your liver turns that fat into all the hormones that your body uses, and women have more hormones than men. That's why most women need a higher fat carnivore diet than men. And women are the ones who have been really targeted with lean, fat-free stuff, because that's what you have to be healthy and thin and to look pretty. And that's complete opposite of what women need. Women need a much higher fat diet in general to process everything and to get all the hormones that their body needs. You were finally able to overcome alcoholism with carnivore. Eating carnivore calmed your brain, and 20-year alcohol addiction almost effortlessly went away. Absolutely. And it really does. calms your brain. But you watch Dr. Kiltz in the morning on Sundays, and you're like, his brain's calm. It is. And it is so clear that he runs at 1,000 miles an hour and everything makes sense. It really does. It's cool. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I got some of my granddaughters are here and they're outside playing here. It's funny. When I got my CGM back on, it's not quite as accurate as I was hoping for on this one. This is a Stello that I've used and I prefer. And yesterday when I put it on and after the warm up and I come back on, my first readings were showing that my blood glucose was 133. I've never had blood glucose that high that I've measured on my Keto Mojo or on the Stello or on the Lingo since I've been using those devices to check my blood glucose. And my wife was the one that looked at me and said, well, you better test it on the Keto Mojo. And I was like, well, that's a good idea. My Stello said my blood glucose was 133. Blood from my finger said my glucose was 99. So it's off by 30 points, 34 points. So that's just a little bit there. Let's see. You started tracking my food because you're a new health coach, personal trainer at a women's gym, and I want to show them how much fat I eat, always around 200 grams. Yes. And that's the hardest thing and women have a hard time because it's been so ingrained in their heads that you should not eat fat. And it's what the woman's body really needs is the fat for all the hormones so that they can be properly produced and sent out to the body. And it's the same with your LDL. It's the biggest scam that they've got going on out there because your LDL is what brings all of that to your body. Your liver sends out LDL as a large buoyant particle, and it goes to the body and distributes the contents where needed, and it comes back small and dense. And it has a receptor on the liver that this fits into, and it absorbs it back in, and it recycles it. That's what your LDL, and that's what your HDL is. The HDL does it just the opposite. It goes out small and comes back buoyant and gets processed, and it's just a cycle that your body takes. So having high LDL isn't bad. Having small, dense LDL is where the issue comes in. That means they've been damaged and your liver's not able to recycle. That's where fasting comes in because fasting and autophagy can help take care of that. But having a high LDL isn't a bad thing, especially if it's the large buoyant ones. And the female body needs to have a higher LDL so that they can have the proper hormones that their body needs because the female body has more. And they get more of that by eating a higher fat diet. With the exception of a very few people, men and women, who need a lower high fat diet for the same thing. And that's something I learned with Jenny Middich. And so lipotoxicity, her husband has to have a lower high fat diet. He can't do the 70 to 80% calories from fat. He's got to do a lower one that's like 45 to 60 for him to lose weight and to heal. And there's a small subset of people out there that have that, and that's what they have to do. It's still a high fat diet compared to the standard American diet, vegan or vegetarian or whatever other diets that they have out there. It's still a higher fat diet than just about everything other than, the beef, butter, bacon, egg, or lion diet where you're eating all the fatty meats. but women need that extra fat. And I guess I don't talk as much about that because I'm not an expert on it, but I don't have the experience to talk about it. Where you have that experience and you're now more stressed about the importance of high fat for women and for their hormones and their health, and to get them off of that stereotypical women have to eat lean to be lean, so that they can understand that they need this fat and it helps their body to become what it's supposed to be. And like Dr. Kiltz says, we're not supposed to be thin and lean. We're supposed to have fat on us. Like right now, I still have excess fat. I still have the visceral fat around my organs. I know this because of how my body is shaped and the amount of excess skin I have and how far I go between my fat and my muscle, and I like touch my belly and my sides and stuff. I know I'm fairly lean on that point, but on the inside is where I still am heavy. That's where I'm carrying the weight, and that's what I'm working on. I wish I would have had a scan done when I first started doing this. Just where I live in Minot, we don't have a DEXA scan here. The closest one is 2 hours away down in Bismarck. It's a ways to go to try to get one, and I just haven't done it. They've got places here that do kind of like a DEXA scan, but it's not a DEXA scan. It's basically standing on that scale and you're holding the electrodes. Actually, the one where you lay down on the machine and it takes the whole body picture so that you can see where the fat is. That's what I want to see. But we don't have it here, and I'm not going to drive 2 hours just to go down there and get it. But yeah, eating, for me, and the way I started out, insanity, tracking my foods, I started carnivore the same way. I tracked my food, and I did like 2.5 months of research on the carnivore diet before I started. I heard everybody telling you don't track what you eat, you just eat until you're full. No. That's a hard no for me. I tracked everything I ate for the first 90 days to make sure that I was getting the proper amount of fat. That's one of the first things I knew was all my life, we've been told not to eat the fat. And if I just ate what I wanted to eat of meat and stuff, I probably would have ate the wrong meat. It took me 90 days to figure out how to properly eat enough fat for my body to get that 70% of my calories coming from fat or higher. And I found out for me, 74 to 76% of my calories coming from fat is where I did my best. And if I can replicate that, which I did in the month of October for the beef, butter, bacon, egg challenge, I pretty much averaged about 76% of my calories coming from fat. And I lost 15 pounds, which is the most weight I've lost in any month is 15 pounds. And I've done that a couple of times. So that's the best way for me to do it. And it worked. And I think for probably 90% of women, doing it that way is probably the best way because women do it. I don't know very many women who, if are told to eat a high-fat animal diet, would, without tracking and understanding that the ribeye steak is a 75-25 ratio. For most women thinking throwing a little bit of butter on a chicken breast, and it would be a skinless chicken breast, would be a high-fat meat, and it's not. So for me, I would recommend everybody, man or woman, track for a minimum of 90 days everything that they put in their mouth. The electrolytes, whether it's Element or Salty or Kiltz electrolytes, whatever one that you're doing, track it. If you snack on anything, if you have beef jerky, write it down. You eat beef, butter, bacon, eggs, write it down. If you make like chocolates, you got to write down the recipe and you got to get the macros right. Write it down. It's got to be tracked so that you know how much fat you're getting. If you make brown butter bites and you have brown butter bites today, you have to track it. You have to know what fat you're putting into your body. And I like brown butter bites. They're very addicting. My wife likes brown butter bites. And we went to Costco last weekend. I didn't buy any of the Kerrygold butter. I just bought the Costco butter. And my wife was telling me the other day, do you know what the difference between Kerrygold and the Costco butter is? I'm like, well, yeah, Kerrygold's like to me, it's a much better butter. She said, well, besides that, and I'm like, what? She's like, Kerrygold's saltier. I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, Costco butter, I have to add salt to it. My wife will slice off butter and just eat the butter. But she has to add salt to it because it's not as salty as the Kerrygold. Which, to me, is amazing that she'll just eat butter. And she's always loved butter. So, I won't say what I call her about that. But, I've watched my one daughter try Carnivore Quest, and she was doing really good, but she is the type of person that wants sauces with everything. So she wants her ranch or her salad dressing and all that stuff with everything. And she didn't do very good on it. So she went back to her regular diet. Would I like to see her go back to the carnivore diet? Absolutely. My other daughters, she's got some health issues that she deals with, and I know absolutely if she were to try a high-fat carnivore diet, it would resolve some of them. I think it would resolve them completely. I have 3 daughters, and all 3 of them would benefit greatly by going to a carnivore diet. I have 7 grandchildren. 6 are granddaughters. The oldest 2 granddaughters, I would say, would also benefit greatly from having a carnivore diet. Get them past that stage, they're teenagers. So, it's really one of those things. Yeah. I didn't think about salt in the Kerrygold versus other butters either. And when making brown butter bites, my wife actually at one point was doing one pack of Kerrygold salted with 1 pack of Kerrygold unsalted, because when you get the milk fats out and it renders down and some of it evaporates, the salt concentration is really great if you just use a straight Kerrygold, where if you use the Kirkland butter, she didn't have to do that. I didn't realize that until after she mentioned that too. It's like, yeah, when we do Kerrygold, she has to mix an unsalted butter in with it to mellow it out a little bit because it gets too salty for her. But eating that Kerrygold butter just straight, she has to add salt to it because it doesn't have the salt content that the Kerrygold does for the Kirkland butter. It's just a little difference. Holy cow, it's been 1 hour and 5 minutes. So, it's just after 11. Well, I'm going to end this here. It's great talking to you again, Juliet. And I'll be doing this again next Saturday, probably about 9 o'clock in the morning, Central, 10 Eastern. So, you all have a great day. eat meat and be happy. It's all it takes. You all have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you Saturday.